Hello, thanks for watching. Aries, Taurus and Gemini. In this video, tarot for Aries, Taurus and Gemini. I've got to kind of bunch them together a bit just to be able to get them uploaded. But I think it's interesting to do it this way. I really do, because as long as I've done sort of tarot or actually anything spiritual that's got anything to do with the star signs, I tend to find that as you go through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, or any of the four groups of three within it, you find that kind of Aries is something, and then Taurus is a slightly different version of something, maybe going in a different direction. And then, for example, Gemini might be kind of more like Aries, but actually kind of going in the same direction in a different way. So there are always differences. But I find that shows the picture of life rather more clearly than kind of going air signs, water signs, fire signs, earth signs, doing it that way. So Aries, Taurus and Gemini, we're with Tarot in Wonderland this week. And let's get cracking on and ask for the first card, please, for the sign of Aries. We'll do Aries first, why ever not? That's the way the zodiac goes. Okay, and the first card out for Aries, 10 of Pentacles. Now then, this is a nice one. Basically, it means that things are at rest, things are sleepy, things basically are comfortable. But as the Pentacles always suggest, in fact always actually are, it's the expression of all the different elements working together under the guidance of the divine. So there is a lot actually going on in the dream life when we get this card. Also ancestors up at the top there, pictures of ancestors to remind us that we always stand on the shoulders of those who've gone before us, you know, whether it's in our family, our profession, whatever we do with our day, really. There is always something that we have learned. And we've also got the ginger cat asleep there, making it look really nice and sleepy, really nice and warm and cozy. Now, you just know, Aries, when this card comes, that things are actually moving, even though Alice is sound asleep and enjoying herself surrounded by 10 pentacles. And so what is happening? Well, it hasn't happened yet, has it? Because we've got 3 of Wands here. So the Wands symbolising, generally speaking, getting things done, actions speaking louder than words. And White Rabbit here is really concerned because the ships are coming in and he's looking at his watch and he's wondering, you know, he's invested money and time and effort as well into whatever these ships are bringing in. They're his ships and whatever's on them is his to keep. But he doesn't actually know what's on them yet. As it turns out, things are going to be fine because 3 wands planted securely in the ground there, and the sort of rag ribbon things tied around them are blowing in the wind to show that things are actually happening. It's likely to be good. Things are likely to get done, but he's standing there looking at his watch, worrying about it. So Aries, stop worrying, okay? Looks to me like things haven't happened yet. We're definitely on our way to something, though. Ships are coming in, most certainly. And then the third card for Aries in this spread, we have the Queen of Cups here, and she's the White Queen in the Wonderland stories and tales. So in her cup there, is that half full or half empty? She is very full of longings and desires. Is the Queen of Cups. And that's really what she's all about, because these things tend to stay as longings and desires and not actually come to fruition as anything unless there's some kind of impetus coming in from the outside, someone to help, someone to push things along and move things along. But we've seen in the 3 of Wands that things are actually happening. So let's say don't get too worried and concerned about what the future holds or where the future is going. Okay, in the story, the Queen of Cups, the White Queen here, always gets some help from somewhere. Sometimes even from Alice, even though Alice seems like a child. So treat her well, okay, whoever she is coming into your life, Aries, or maybe she's there in your life already. Treat her well, do her the odd favour, but be sincere, okay, because she can tell if you aren't. She really can. Okay, Aries, right then. Let us do another card for Aries, actually, because I'm going to do a bit of signification as we go here. I'm using a different deck for this. This is the Mantegna. It's an ancient 50-card tarot deck that's still in print by, I think it's, is it? No, it's Los Scarabeo, I believe. Anyway, Aries, what have we got for Aries? And we have got Terpsichore. there, and that is like a musical reference basically, and there she is with a medieval looking musical instrument of some kind. Looks a lot like a ukulele to me, and it makes me think of all those YouTube adverts that seem to have died out now, but everything had a ukulele in it for ages, didn't it? So music, where does that take us, Aries? Well, this is all about the waiting bit. This is the Ten of Pentacles bit, where we're asleep and things are going on in the heavens. And whenever you play music or listen to music, it's an esoteric thing. It has some kind of link to the heavens. You see the moon here in the picture, even though it's on the ground. It kind of suggests that she may not have the world at her feet, but she's certainly got the moon at her feet. And we only really get into that frame of mind if we're doing something, doesn't have to be artistic, but basically something creative, something where it's a thought in our minds that kind of comes out into the real world and becomes something. So things are really happening there, Aries. It's just that they're not happening, in a way that you can see it yet. So hold on, have faith and keep moving. Okay, Taurus time. Let's get on to Taurus and have a 3-card tarot reading for the sign of Taurus, and then we'll have another Mantegna card for you guys as well. Okay, here we go. So the first card out for Taurus is the Emperor, number 4. It's major arcana, very close to your heart here, Taurus. Now then, the Emperor is the other half of the Empress, and the Empress reminds us that everything has a season and that kind of good things can come in abundance, but we have to do the work first and the preparation. The Emperor is the guy who creates the structures, knowing that from the Empress, he creates the structures so you can kind of have a barn full of grain for when there's nothing growing, or whatever really. It's about making the best use of resources, not just making them last, although that's part of it. He's about making the best use of resources. So there is the first card for you guys, Taurus. Now then, let's have a shuffle and go for card number 2. What have we got now? Card number 2 for the sign of Taurus, please, in this reading, which, by the way, I don't put dates on these readings because the best time to watch it is right now, the moment you're actually drawn to watch it, friends. Subscribe, tap the bell, have a look at my channel, etc., etc., because it's all going on there. And there are hundreds and hundreds of readings. If you're drawn to one, even if it's not your star sign, you're drawn to one. So do take a look at that. Anyway, okay. Next card is the 6 of Swords. Just put the deck out of the way a second. 6 of Swords is the next card for Taurus. We've had the Emperor, and we've been thinking about resources and using them wisely. But where is it taking us? Well, Alice is on a journey here, and she's got her back to the calm water. The lady who's actually steering the rowing boat that they're in there is the sheep shopkeeper. She also appears in this deck as the Queen of Pentacles, so there's great potential. But in the story, Alice has to go on this journey with the sheep shopkeeper and do certain things, and it's a very spiritual journey, and at the end of this journey, Alice can have whatever she wants. But even though they're in rough waters and the sheep shopkeeper can see it's plain sailing ahead, Alice has no idea. Also, it's a very wintry scene. It suggests a time of lull, really, almost like a new moon sort of a time. But the cycle continues. There is a full moon up in the trees, though, which it's not showing in my camera thing very well there, but it's roughly where my finger is. Okay. Google Tarot in Wonderland 6 of Swords and you can have a proper look at it. It's my only complaint about this deck. It's not the best one to show to a camera, but it's a great one to read. Okay, so the Emperor's telling us, be careful with our resources, make the best use of our resources, and do what we have to do to make sure that we've got energy going forward. We're going to need it because of this journey in the 6 of Swords, but it's a journey out into calmness. So then, what is the last of the 3 tarot cards for the sign of Taurus in this spread before we get on to the Mantegna for some significance? And it is the High Priestess. Here she is. And here is Alice gone to see the High Priestess. Major Arcana, again, very close to your heart. So that's 2 Major Arcana and a Sword card. So it's in your heart and there's a lot to think about at the moment, Taurus. But look, this is just about the outcome of this reading. And these hold good until the next one I do in spiritual terms. I never quite know when that's going to be. But I try to do them all at least every week once. And here is Alice, and she's actually allowed in through this window that she's climbed up to. The Queen of parts is in there. Is it? No, it's not. It's the High Priestess. I'm sorry. The High Priestess is in there waiting to actually allow Alice through and to help her with the rite of passage that will make Alice into a woman. And in terms of the spiritual journey, this is all about maturity. Okay. It's also a great card around love, this one, because you never know what's going to happen when you take the sort of leap in the dark that is love. Hopefully it leads to the light. It doesn't always, you know, and not all relationships are really truly sort of blessed and worth hanging on to, but maybe yours is. The one that's on the other side of this pink curtain certainly is, so that is looking really positive indeed, actually in quite a love sort of a way, that one. And I'm all in favour of love readings, but I do these readings, they're general readings. What comes up, comes up. But it looks very loving around Taurus. So then into the Mantegna, and let us have a significatory card, please, for that 3-card spread for the sign of Taurus. Oh, and it's all about communication. And this is where it could be tricky, particularly in matters particularly in matters around love. Sorry, quick drink of tea required. I do get rather slurry if I'm not careful. Here he is, Mercury, and it's number 42. Took me a while to look that up. It's number 42, which some people regard as that number as being the meaning of the life, universe, and everything. But that goes back to a book. Douglas Adams' book, great book. But there we go. In terms of communication, since I've thought of that book, and that's been shown to me, let's say, take things with a pinch of salt. Don't be afraid to be cheerful. And don't be afraid, really, to kind of accept things that seem a bit crazy. If they're really happening, they're real. Now, he's got a bird down here. It looks a lot like it is actually a chicken to me. I couldn't quite see in the camera there. And there's the face of someone down here in the ground as well, in the snow. And that kind of looks like ancestral energy. And it looks as if Mercury is walking kind of roughshod across that. The chicken is definitely a sign of fertility, though. So Mercury is thinking and talking about something worth getting in touch with. Now then, if you follow astrology at all, you'll know that Mercury was regarded as the Roman god of communication. So communications are really significant in this, and that, more than anything, is what's going to make the 6 of Wands here a difficult card. But is it? No, it's the 6 of Swords. That's what's going to make this a really difficult card and really awkward if you're not aware of the fact that this is all somewhere around communication. This is things people say to each other that don't add up to the person that's hearing them, but do add up to the person who said them. You know, misunderstandings, basically. Look out for them, Taurus. Okay, guys, that's for you. Let's move on to Gemini now and do 3-card tarot in this reading for the sign of Gemini. It's just about the autumn equinoxes I'm doing this. The seasons are changing. It's freezing cold. I've got my scarf on again. But hey, life is good. You know, the weather is what it is. Can't be helped. First card for the sign of Gemini. Ooh, it's the Queen of Wands. Now, the Queen of Wands is a little bit cynical. In fact, she's a lot cynical a lot of the time in this tale. But she is actually also someone who's earned the right to be cynical if she wants to be. She's put the work into life. She understands the nuts and bolts of getting things done. And she's flying the flag for love there with a red and black flag, which makes me think of anarchy and matters of love. And look at the mountains leaning over in the background, kind of pointing to the sky, and kind of, it's like the earth stretching its claws up. Don't forget, reality is something, you know, we have to have a reality check sometime, and there is always a reason for that. But she's got a black cat there, so it's not all about reality. It's about keeping it real and remembering that in any spiritual considerations, we live in this world. We were given this life in this world, and that's the life we've got to work with, regardless of all the things that we don't know, and the black cat does know. You know, and there are plenty of black cats around. Even I have a black cat. I'm really happy. So I got a lovely black cat. I had her since she was a kitten, and she is very magical. But even if you haven't got one, they exist in the world. It's a bit like crystals. People buy crystals from a crystal shop, pay a fortune for them. And there's a great affirmation in doing that, actually. It's not a bad thing to do at all. but we forget that we live on a giant crystal. The earth beneath our feet is full of crystals, most of which will never be discovered and dug up, and they're working for all of us all the time. So there's a little thought about resources there, spiritual resources particularly. But the Queen of Wands is looking a rather cynical lady in this card, okay? So it's an invitation to be careful more than anything else. But she's flying the flag for love, so don't hold back in that sense. Okay, what is next? For the sign of Gemini, give me the middle card for Gemini in this reading around the autumn equinox, September the 21st, 2019, or whenever people are watching it. And we've got the Five of Wands there. I've been using this deck a long time now. I've done many readings with it, but I still forget which cards they are until I have a look at the front. Okay, Five of Wands, and it's a battle going on. It's kind of a pointless battle, but what's really battling here are egos. Yeah, there has been some success. There is progress going on when this happens. It's not a negative thing at all, but people's egos have been bruised. So if you're having difficulties along the way there somewhere, Gemini, remember that egos get bruised easily. All these things relate to each other. If for you this is a love reading, and the most important interpretation on any of these readings, friends, is the one you put on them. If this to you is a love reading, then don't forget she is flying the flag. It's just a black heart on there. It's going to take work. Black isn't a totally negative colour, though. It's more than anything actually in magical terms. Black is the colour of releasing hexes, getting away from kind of perhaps wrong teachings that were taught to you, difficult influences that have made things very kind of unfortunate and unpleasant for you one way or the other. Black, it's a very grounding colour. It's the colour of obsidian. So if you've really been going through it, put those roots down deep and just keep going, okay? Because there is a lot of success going on at the same time as this battle. I'll say it again though, egos are where it's at, okay? And what will we have for the outcome card in this reading? For the sign of Gemini, what will we have? We have got the Knight of Wands, and he really is a Leo here, is he not? Total Leo. He's a lion, in fact. He's on his way, he's busy, he's getting things done. You've really got to appeal to this character's ego to get the best out of him. And part of that is having a good plan and letting him know why he is the one to help you with your good plan and what he's going to get out of it as well. So think about sharing the energy as you go forward with this, Gemini. It's important, but things are most definitely getting done. That one there is really going places, and the horse is really taking it and the knight, and hopefully Gemini, you as well, forward at a pace of knots. Okay, let's just do one more significatory card in this reading for the sign of Gemini in September 2019, late September 2019, around the equinox, and it's the Knight. Here we go. He's not the knight of anything in particular in the Mantegna. There are only 50 cards in it, but what cards they are, I don't know if you can see, but it's like a silvery coloured background on this. Very nice deck. Okay, so he's got two different coloured legs, and they're the colour of the heart chakra as well. One is green, one is nice sort of, real nice heart chakra pink colour there. And I'm just doing all the colours in this because that's what's jumping out at me, really. But definitely kind of one foot in both worlds. You've got to be aware of the lower heart and the higher heart. And that is, because it's the Knight card, I'm going to say he's telling us more about the Knight of Wands there. This is really significant. He's someone who can bring a lot of help, or actually, no, I wouldn't say a lot of hindrance, but perhaps a bit of frustration as well, if he's not convinced that he's really needed. Okay, but this chap has one foot in both worlds, and he's going places. That's just a beautiful powder blue colour there. Very spiritual, and actually the more like the colour of spiritualism than the kind of Blessed Virgin Mary sort of lapis blue, but definitely a blue of connection. So there's spiritual connections going on there, Gemini, and I'm going to say real world, real life connections in this life going on there too. Okay. Right, well guys, I'm going to wrap it up there and say thanks very much for watching. I'll be back with Cancer, Leo and Virgo in a bit more than the blink of an eye, but it won't be long, okay? So if you haven't subscribed already, please do tap that bell so you get all the notifications. What was I going to say? Yeah, leave me a comment, that's it. Leave me a comment, we'll share the journey and share me around the internet, friends, if you can, because it's great to get the word out. Meanwhile, have a fantastic week ahead, Aries, Taurus and Gemini. I'll see you again soon. Peace.